Source: Oshinoko. Welcome back to AniRecapz. Like and subscribe so you never miss our quality uploads.
ねえ、今どの辺に住んでるの？聞いてる？あんたどこ中？
ヤンキー女子。
これからカラオケとか行かない？
行かねえよ。
じゃあ、私の家とか？
距離の詰め方やばくない？
In the previous episode, an otaku doctor named Goru and his patient, Serena, was the biggest fan of an idol named Ai. After Serena died from her illness and Goru getting murdered, these two fans woke up as Ai's twins, Aqua and Ruby. They've been together as a secret family until Ai was brutally murdered. With this, Aqua devotes his life and connection to getting revenge on the real murderer of his mom. 10 years later, Aqua and Ruby became charming teenagers trying to accomplish their dreams. As for Ruby, she is pursuing and doing everything she can to become an idol, just like her mom. She had auditioned for multiple companies with over 136,114 applicants. Ruby undergoes screenings and interviews with enthusiasts and talks to her friends about it. Her friends support her with her dreams, except one of her friends thinks that Ruby's voice isn't that great, but she quickly covers it by telling her that Ruby's beauty outweighs her flaws. Despite that, Ruby remained motivated by her dreams, wishing to be a top idol like her mother. As Ruby was walking home, she reminisced about her secret of being the daughter of a famous idol who died 10 years ago, and her other secret is she still carries the memories of her past life, but as she was on her last breath, she woke up and found she's Ai's child. Even though she grew up witnessing her mom's struggle as an idol, it didn't stop her from being like Ai. That's when Aqua interrupted but bonked her head to wake her up to the reality that they had a high school entrance exam. But Ruby was ignorant, confident that she would become an idol and going to school won't be a thing for her. Yet her brother is bitter about her dreams, telling her to not bet her life on them, not wanting her to pursue her dream. To disinterest her, Aqua mentioned that idols don't make any money and have to retire before they turn 30. Other than that, he also mentioned that fans would monitor her daily, especially after their debut. This annoyed Ruby, and they defended that life is all about doing what they love. But if it's all about effort and rewards, they can't do anything. She was offended because she remembered when she couldn't do anything because of her illness. That's why she chose to do something she likes now that she has been given another chance. Aqua doesn't seem to mind what she just said and goes to the Teishi, the director's house, to work as an apprentice. It saddens Ruby to know her brother has been cold and constantly upset over anything since their mother died. Also, because he became the director's apprentice, Aqua is always busy without telling her anything. But it's not only Aqua that was affected by Ai's death. Ichigo, the president of the Strawberry production, has not been heard from since that incident, and his wife, Miyako, took his place. The B Komachi also disbanded 2 years after losing their star. Strawberry Productions has no idol, but it still functions as an influencer marketing. As Miyako was busy on the computer, Ruby asked her why they were not starting another idol group. Miyako told her that it was not simple and could only wish she could. She reminisced about the times when Ai showed them an experience of a lifetime, with achievement after achievement, but now she thinks of it as a stroke of luck. Miyako told Ruby that the more she grows up, the more she'll understand that it's not a simple thing to do. After that, Miyako reminded her that she would be getting a call from the company she auditioned for by now, and it would be better if she became an artist from another company rather than theirs. Because of that, Ruby was unsure what to feel, but a ring interrupted them. Ruby picked up the phone and answered it anxiously as she walked slightly away from Miyako. As she talked to the agent, she suddenly froze as the agent thanked her for participating. After ending the call, Ruby stood there as her tears fell, informing Miyako that she failed. Miyako approached her and hugged her from behind, trying to comfort her. Meanwhile, earlier that time, Aqua was using Teishi's phone to call the company that Ruby applied to withdraw her application and set it to reject her. Teishi was impressed with his acting skill that he could even fool his sister. This brutal act confused Teishi as to why Aqua was determined to kill her dreams. But Aqua responds with a creepy look saying that he will never let her follow Ai's old path, rebelling against her dreams. But despite that, fate is on Ruby's side because the following morning, as Ruby was walking towards her school, a talent scout found her and offered her a position to be their company's trainee. After she went home, she informed Aqua and Miyako that they were surprised to know about it. This made Ruby very happy to be chosen as an underground idol, knowing that her mother was also scouted before, thinking that her mother might have blessed her. Miyako and Aqua didn't trust it, but Ruby defended the company as Legit ignored what the others told her and continued to daydream of what would happen after becoming an underground idol. Aqua was frustrated after knowing it, trying to figure a way to the offer. Miyako can't do anything about it but sigh, but she tried to talk out to Aqua so that she understood why he was acting the way he was because of what happened to Ai. She further explained that she also didn't want it to happen again. She has raised Ruby like her own, and that's why she wanted to protect her, but as for adoptive mother, she can't help but want to support her dreams. Miyako also pointed out that Ruby was beginning to look like Ai, especially with her talent. Aqua listened to it all, but he had to do something first before making his judgment. After that, Aqua dressed like an agent while greeting a girl named Lala, one of the underground trainees of the agency Irebu. He handed her the company's business card, and the girl took it immediately since it was strawberry production. She explained that her mother was a fan of the bee Komachi. To prove that he wasn't trying to scam her, he took her to the company office to discuss the agency. After that, Aqua assured her that if she answered his questions, their company would make her a better offer. Lala's eyes sparkled as Miyako showed the opposite. But Aqua went to business and asked her questions about the working conditions of the agency and if there were any complaints about their group. Lala answered them all and even shared a rumor she heard that a member was dating someone from the management. That's why she was favored more. She then admitted that the relationship between each member is terrible and that some want to quit. After that, the sun was setting and the interview ended. Miyako wasn't feeling good after knowing the agency was filled with issues. Still, it's understandable because Group B Komachi also undergoes the same issue, complaining because Ai is the only one popular. Aqua also can't let Ruby join an unstable group, so he proposes hiring detectives to post their scandals on the internet. Miyako wasn't fond of this idea, but she knew stopping Aqua will be hard. After her assistant went home for the day, Miyako has left alone, giving her time to think about taking a big step. Morning came, and Ruby showed them her dress over their breakfast. She was getting ready to meet the agency, but Miyako asked her again if she was sure about it, which she was. Miyako warned her again that life in the industry isn't easy, and she should brace for what will come. But Ruby showed her passion for becoming an idol and talked back. That's when Miyako stood up, telling her she didn't allow it. Ruby was about to break down, but Miyako offered her to become Strawberry Productions' idol instead. Ruby agreed in a heartbeat, and they sorted the documentation afterward, making her the first idol of the company after 10 years. After that, Aqua went to Teishi's place again to work. As they were working, Aqua told Teishi that Ruby was officially an idol at their company to keep an eye on her. After that, Teishi remembered when young Aqua asked to be his apprentice, determined to become an actor. But for Aqua, it is just a strategy to find his responsible and make him suffer for what he did to Ai. But to do that, he would trace him via DNA identification with a sample of his hair and mucus. He needs to have direct contact with the artist, and the fastest way is to become an actor, but being a random staff also works. Aqua admits to Teishi that he was losing hope of becoming an actor. Teishi disagrees since it's written all over Aqua's face that he still wants to be an actor, so he advises him to never quit and believe in himself without wanting to be like anyone, nor like Ai. With this, Aqua now has the hope to pursue acting again and was about to confide with Teishi. But his mom interrupted. The day came for them to start their first day in high school at a university called Yodo High School, one of the few schools offering an entertainment program. Only a few students applied there since they need to provide proof of the agency they are affiliated with. The twins undergo interviews on their first day, with Aqua getting a lot of recognition because of his wordy name and high standard score. As the twins were conversing about how wordy and hard to pronounce Aqua's name is, a girl was passing by and heard his name, making her stop. It turned out to be Kana Arima. She couldn't believe that Aqua was there with her, but Aqua didn't seem to remember her. That's when Ruby told him it was the kid who could lick baking soda. but Kana corrected her that she was the kid who could cry in 10 seconds. After that, Kana introduced herself again and it finally rang a bell on Aqua. Aside from that, Kana was glad to know that Aqua didn't stop quitting and was excited that they would become classmates, but he informed her that she had taken the general program, disappointing her. After Kana found out that Aqua enrolled in the general program, he explained to Kana that his sister Ruby was trying for performance arts in the school, which made him worry for her, so he applied too. Afterward, Ruby whispers to Aqua that she doesn't like Kana in the first place, but Aqua responds in a whisper, pointing out that she will be her junior if she is accepted, so Ruby doesn't have much choice. With that, Ruby let down her guard, not wanting to fight, so she asked Kana to be her friend, but Kana was being aggressive towards her. Later, Aqua excused himself to the two ladies since he had work to do with Teishi. As Aqua walked to the director's place, Kana followed him, asking annoying basic questions, trying to get close to him. He wanted to get rid of her, but she wouldn't budge. After Kana asked Aqua if he was still acting, he responded that he wasn't, which made Kana sad. With that, Aqua spared no time and continued walking away from her as she kept asking him questions annoyingly. As a last resort, Kana invited him to replace so they could continue talking privately since she was still a celebrity. Aqua was quick to catch on, so he brought Kana with him to the director's place. As soon as they arrived, Teishi was glad to see her for a long time, which offended her gravely. After that, as Teishi and Aqua work, Kana keeps herself accompanied by the director's manga and book collections. While browsing for a good book, Kana asked Aqua why he still visits the director, assuming he was getting special teaching on acting. Aqua admits that he was taught about the basics of acting, but he prefers to work behind the scene like his assistant. Kana was still glad to know that Aqua was still in the industry. He was taken aback by what he heard but chose not to get bothered. After a while in the office, they went to the dining room to eat lunch prepared by Teishi's mother, who enthusiastically served them. Kana was cutting her carb intake, so the extra rice went to Teishi, leaving him no choice but to eat it. After, Kana thinks it's funny that an older man still lives with his parents, which offends Teishi, but Kana explained that it was nice since her parents retired to the countryside, leaving her to fend off herself in the city. Teishi responded that it must be expensive, but Kana answered in a cheerful voice that it was not much of a struggle since she had the money she made as a child actress. After bickering each other, she asked Teishi if he still had the videos of Aqua's acting, to which Teishi said yes. But Aqua stopped them immediately, not wanting to return to that part of the memory since he fell under the false impression he had the talent, which the film paid tons for. With that, Teishi advised her to try to talk him out of acting again. Because of it, Kana feels mischievous and wants to provoke him seriously. She tells Aqua that she has a project where she is the final lead, and since not all the rules are filled yet, she can talk to their director and hopefully get a role. But Aqua wasn't interested in joining nor acting in general. Teishi asked her the title, and Kana responded, "I'll go with Sweet today," based on a shoujo manga. The title was familiar to Aqua, who said that directing based on a manga is extravagant. With that small compliment, Kana asked him again if he was interested, but Aqua refused to. Kana still forced out Aqua, mentioning that the director, Kaburagi, has a sweet spot for her. That surname alone triggered something in Aqua as he asked Kana if Kaburagi's full name was Masaya Kaburagi, to which he was right. Suddenly, Aqua's aura changed into a menacing mood, remembering when he gathered all of Ai's phone after she died, just to trace the real possible suspect. Those phones were used for work and personal things with communication logs with fellow group members and agency staff. Among the 3 phones was an old one, which Ai used before getting pregnant. That phone gave him a hard time because he needed to look for the proper battery to replace it, but the real challenge was figuring out the passcode. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and months turned into years until he finally got it right on his 45,510th attempt. It took him 4 long years to finally open the phone with email and numbers details from dozens of people with connections to show business. Still, one of them caught his attention, a contact named Masaya Kaburagi. Coincidentally, years after that, he finally got to hear that name. With a heartbeat, Aqua blurted out that he wanted to join, as Kana was busy talking about how handsome the male lead was. It made her assume that Aqua was jealous of the male lead, which is why he wanted to participate. But it's very different than that. After convincing Aqua to join the set, Kana immediately called the director and strongly recommended him to play a role. And with that, the director called him in to try out. In reality, Masaya Kaburagi, the director, doesn't care about whoever will take up a role. After that, night came, and Miyako informed Ruby that his brother would be in a TV show. It surprised her but made her happy too, since she remembered that Ai was looking forward to seeing Aqua become an actor. But Aqua didn't join for a lofty ambition, but to get a strand of the director's hair. After that, Ruby asked Miyako what the show would be, which was also a familiar manga to her. Miyako explained to her that the drama would have 6 episodes. The main cast is even new actors, making an impression that the production seems to be low-budgeted. She further explained that Aqua will get to play the villain who shows up in the final episode, to which Ruby agrees since he got a sinister face. Miyako offered Ruby that they could watch it now since it was streamed online, and Ruby was glad to watch it with her. They watched the first episode where her schoolmate Kana was acting her best. They got to the scene where the male lead was finally introduced as they flirtatiously talked. Ruby, Miyako, and Aqua were cringing as they watched the scene, as Aqua left to get a copy of the manga. As they were watching it, the scene just got cringing with 2 boys typically fighting for a girl, and they had the need to close it. Ruby went full criticizing the flow of the story, saying that it was unwatchable since it's far from what happened in the manga. With that, Miyako explained that it's inevitable for the story to get cut since it has 14 volumes in half a TV season. A day after, Aqua and Kana met in a private KTV to talk without getting spied on or stalked. Kana was furious, knowing she was criticized, but she put it aside. As they were chatting, she recalled the look of the original author looking disappointed that she couldn't take it. Still, Kana does her best in the set, trying to match her energy with the people around her because Kana learned that communication skills are also important in acting. That's why when she was a kid, it was understandable why people acted her that way. At least now, she had learned her lesson and promised him to do her best with him on board. A day passed, and they saw each other again in the set, getting ready. Rain was pouring hard that day, so they had difficulty shooting since they could only work in that broken storage room for a day. After that, the male lead Narushima greeted Kana, complaining about the bad weather. Aqua was about to introduce himself, but Malp was ignorant and passed by him. Kana explained to him that it's common for rising stars to act like that, hitting her younger self with it too. A few moments later, director Masaya approached them as Kana pushed him to introduce himself to the director. Even the director was being ignorant. Seeing him closely, he braced for what he should do and what will happen to the director. After everything, they go to rehearsal, with Aqua ironically playing the role of a stalker, the same reason for his mother's death. They started the shoot, giving their everything in that scene. Kana complimented his acting, not expecting much from him, but he did enough. Kana was really hyped and glad she finally got a leading role after years, so she's motivated to give her best. Aqua was also glad to hear it since it's been a while since he saw her on TV. With that, she explained that she's been seeing comments about her asking where she is now. People may think she's just lounging around. She was training every day. Kana was still glad to know that her ability was recognized and was thankful she didn't quit, and also happy to see Aqua continuing that line of work, because she learned that there would be someone willing to struggle with her in a world filled with darkness, which is enough for her. While the staff and the others are preparing, Masaya and his co-worker smoke outside when the worker informs him that Kana is doing her best to comfort the cast. Aqua was also there, hiding in the dark area of a wall where nobody could see him. They mentioned her name, and Masaya complimented her for being easy to work with, pointing out that Kana is good at fluttering everyone, which might be why she's great to a point randomly. He further explained that Kana is now a freelancer actress they can get at a dirt cheap price but still use her known name for fame and recognition, which is a good deal to them. The series they're working on is just promotional material for the male actors. Aqua wasn't fond of how they acted and talked, feeling bad for Kana, who was innocent. While there, he collected the cigarette butt, wanting to collect a drop of DNA from that man. Aqua's goal is finished today, but from what Kana and the director told him, he decides to go all out in his acting.